by Christian fiction authors, they expect a certain type of read. They're looking for a book that's going to provide hope, faith, strength, and the assurance that all things are possible through God. They're looking for books where God is the focus. The words heart, mind, body, and soul are in almost every novel. And for me as a writer, they actually suggest the 4 levels of connection that we as authors should have with our readers, but also with the characters in the book. As authors, our whole reason for being is to appeal to the reader's heart, mind, body, and soul. You first win the reader's heart by creating appealing characters with whom the reader can identify and empathize. We cannot underestimate our readers' minds. The very second a reader decides to publish our books, we have a duty to fulfill what I call the author-reader contract. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, the author-reader contract. We make a promise that our readers will be entertained, inspired, and ministered to. We make the promise to write stories that will draw our readers into a closer relationship with God. We make the promise that we will keep it real while keeping it holy. Books written to minister should not be filled with hot, steamy love scenes and profanity. We don't want to take the focus off God by getting our readers all hot and bothered. It should actually be our goal to give our readers hope that despite all that's going on in the world, God is still in charge. While our characters are often flawed, they are relatable because we're not perfect. Yet our hearts are filled with the desire to please the Lord. And it should be our goal to remind readers that God is the answer to every problem. We vow to never forget that readers deserve a fresh plot, logical conclusions, and something to stimulate their imagination. To write anything else is to break this promise and to risk losing the reader. Our readers are smart, and they know exactly what they want. Janice's reader is looking to lose herself in the author's fictional world. She is looking to identify and fall in love with the characters in the book. She wants to feel what they're feeling. She wants a book that will make her want to finish reading at all costs, even if it's 4 in the morning and she has to be at work at 8. Once Janice's reader actually gets home and she settles down to read, she opens that book, that one that's going to keep her up all night long. She's totally engrossed in her novel. She experiences goosebumps, shivers up her spine, down her spine, warm feelings deep inside. Sometimes it's anger to the point that she starts to talk to the characters, fuss, fight. She may even break into laughter, or she may shed a tear or two. Her husband walks into the bedroom to find her wiping her eyes with tissue. And he's like, honey, what's wrong? Jaden just told Alexis that he loves her. I didn't think their marriage would survive, but he's given his life to the Lord. Honey, it's just beautiful. Her husband leaves the room wondering, who in the world is this? This is the physical evidence of the effect the story can have on our readers. So when you're writing and you find yourself wiping away a few tears, it's safe to assume that your readers are going to respond in a similar manner. So therefore, if you are writing and these characters make you want to just throw that manuscript against the wall, that's really not the one that's ready to be published. Our faith actually adds a special dimension to the spirituality in the books. And without preaching, you can appeal to the innermost part of the reader, his or her soul. And one thing that Christian authors should remember, we're not necessarily writing for believers because they should know God. We're actually writing for those that don't know God. We're writing for those that won't pick up the Bible. We're writing for those that we can actually seduce into a relationship with the Lord. Now, in the author-reader contract, Christian fiction authors have to recognize that what we write today can save someone else's tomorrow. It is is not just a job or a hobby, it's a ministry. Now, after reading the book, the reader should be satisfied, fulfilled, and ready to search bookstores for our next book. It is at this point that she succumbs to the blissful state of reader loyalty. But let's go back to Janice Reader. After reading the first 3 chapters of another novel, she mutters, okay, I know where this story's going. I know exactly what's going to happen. If she finds that the story is predictable, or boring, or worse, not really Christian fiction, then her relationship with the author is now on rocky ground. We cannot forget that before we became writers, we were readers. And we will always be better readers than we are writers. As readers, we know what it feels like to read a line that pulls us out of a story. That trance is broken and will jolt it into an unwelcome reality. Janice Reader is very disappointed that this writer didn't carry through on their promise to captivate her, to hold her mind captive, page after page after page. However, she loves this author, and she's going to forgive this one indiscretion. But if it continues, the relationship between this author and Janice Reader is in trouble. And one thing I'd like for you all to really remember, meeting reader expectations is a fact of our life as authors. If you're writing for publication, you have to face the reaction of the reader. And if you made a promise but didn't keep it, then it's your job to make the readers understand why you abandoned that promise. A true relationship with God, good writing, thorough research, and keeping promises are the answers to all the author-reader relationship woes. A book containing these elements, along with an interesting storyline, as I said earlier, will seduce the reader from the first chapter to the last, leaving her satisfied and wanting more. Now, in closing, I'd like to share this thought with you. When you look at a braid, it appears to be only 2 strands of hair, but it's impossible to create a braid with only 2 strands. If the 2 could be put together at all, they would quickly unravel. What looks like 2 strands actually requires a 3rd. The 3rd strand, although not immediately evident, keeps the braid tightly woven. Now, I'd like all the authors in this room to stand, please.